Welcome to my class. We're going to get started very, very shortly. I'm wondering if I can flip the camera around. I can. So in less than 5 minutes, as you can see, I have, Anna Hunt. Thanks for joining us. As you can see, I have 2 blocks on my mat. If you have blocks, go ahead and grab them if you like to use them with your practice. If you have any other props that you like to use, I've got a bolster. I am rocking my purple mat today in honor of International Women's Day, so I'm excited about that. Shout out to all the women who might be joining me today and all the women in our lives who nurture us, who support us, who lift us up, who inspire us, who have given us opportunities to shine. So I'm just shouting out to for International Women's Day. And purple, believe it or not, is the color of International Women's Day. So I've jumped out with my purple life form mat and I'm wearing purple today in honor of that. Today is a core awareness class. So we will be mixing core. I'm going to flip the camera just so you guys can see me. Disregard my messy desk behind me. But we will be using the shapes of Pilates and yoga and core shapes to help build our core and make them stronger. So our core muscles for our practice today are between our shoulders and our knees, front and back. So we'll be working that. So that also includes working our quads, our glutes, our abdominal wall, a little bit of our chest and our back. So all the things that build us up in the centers of our body. So that's what we'll be working on today. If you ever want to reach out to me, request any kind of classes with me, I'd love to hear from you. You can check me out on social media, on all of my social media channels, which is Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Dianne with 2 N's and an E, Bondy Yoga, and you can reach out to me there. You can message me there. I'd love to hear from you. I'm here every Friday at 11 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Mountain Time, and then 8 o'clock if you're in the Pacific Time Zone. So I hope you'll join me. Thank you for being here. We're going to get started in about 1.5 minutes, about 90 seconds. So go ahead and jump on your mat. Come to a seated position. I'm going to flip the camera around now, and I will see you shortly. Thanks for being here, everyone. Okay, I'm going to head over to my mat now. Give everybody a minute or so to join us. If you're just joining us now, welcome to Core Awareness class. We will be working on our core, which includes from our shoulders to our knees, front and back, and we'll be really focusing on strengthening the center of our body. One of the reasons I find why core awareness is so important is it helps support our spine. I walked around for a better part of a year with my SI joint out, and so I had some weakness on my right side. So the SI joint is a sliding joint that sometimes gets disrupted. I find if I sit too long, if I lay down too long, if I stand too long, all those things influence my back. So the idea for me is if I can work all the muscles around that joint and keep them strong, perhaps I can keep it in place for much longer. Plus I find it just feels really good to work the center of our bodies, make ourselves stronger, able to handle the world a little bit better, and as I like to say, help us be able to stand in our power. So today as we move through this practice, give yourself a break. I am always just grateful for whatever movement I can do. I don't beat myself up for the things that I can't do, and I like to watch the progress of my body as I get stronger. So there are things that we can do when we age that help us get stronger, and exercise or joyful movement is one of those things, and that's how I like to approach this class. So we'll start in seated. Make sure if you're not comfortable sitting flat on the floor, so those of us who may have really curvy spines or maybe not so open hips, sitting up on a blanket, a block, or a bolster is really helpful, just as long as your seat's a little bit elevated. And then you can plant your hands on your knees, close your eyes, and just come to your breath, inhaling and exhaling just naturally. Whatever your natural, normal breath is here. Just getting settled and getting ready to practice. And now I'm I'm going to give you a couple of options for breath when we move through this practice. You can do your regular natural breath at any time through this practice, just as long as you're paying attention to your breath. You're not trying to catch it or feeling out of breath is your body's way of telling you, go ahead and slow down. You can also breathe when we're doing more of the core exercises that engage our abdominal wall. You also can breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth as though you're trying to whistle. So out through a pursed lip. So that encourages us to just engage the abs. So give it a try. In through the nose, out through the mouth, pursed lips. And feel how you engage when you're squeezing that way. So you can use that breath, or you can use your equal inhales to equal exhales breath. And you can also use that in your practice. So you can just make sure that you're breathing in through the nose, out through the nose, that the inhalations are equal to the exhalations. And that's all that I'm going to give you in terms of cueing for breath. Just notice if your breath gets caught, notice if you're struggling, and this is your way of, or your body's way of saying, I just need a moment. Just let your body catch up. So again, I'm always grateful for any kind of movement I can get or anything that my body does, and that is the perspective in which we'll move through this practice. So let's start with this seated twist. I'm going to place my left leg in front of me and tuck my right leg underneath me. And the up on a bolster is great because it gives me lots of space to do that. So rooting down through my bottom, I'm going to get really tall through my spine, take my right hand to my outer knee, then I'm going to hitchhike back with my left hand. Fingertips can come either to your bolster if you're sitting on one, straight to the floor, or you can even take a block behind you if you need just a little bit more space there. Good. Inhale back through center and we'll switch sides. And again, I'm up on a bolster, so it gives me lots of room to tuck in. And then lengthening up through the crown of my head, fingertips, I'm going to reach out in front of me, hitchhike, bring the shoulder blade onto the back as I reach back. I'm going to hug my knees and go ahead and twist to the other side, to the opposite side, so I'm twisting to the right. Good. Inhaling back through center, bringing the soles of my feet together, knees wide, lengthening through the top of my head. I'm going to lengthen my collarbones toward you. So bringing my fingertips forward. If you find that your knees are feeling like, ugh, or your hips are feeling a little tight or sore, or it feels like just way too much stretch, you can go ahead and bring a block underneath your knees. But now I'm just noticing where I feel stretch. Outer hips perhaps, inner hips perhaps, low back. I'm just going to be okay with wherever I feel sensation. So just take a few moments to breathe here. Good. One more breath. And then walk your hands gently back towards your knees. And then we'll take our blocks off to the side, but we always just keep them in arm's reach so that if any time we need them, we can reach and get them. So I'm going to go ahead and place my bolster off camera, but in a place where I still have access to it. So in case you want to use it later, you certainly can use it. So now we're going to come on to our hands and knees. If your knees are sensitive, I suggest getting a blanket to place under your knees. You also can fold your mat underneath your knees if you like. I have a really thick mat, so my knees feel really cushioned here. You can take your pinky finger right to the edge of the mat, knees slightly behind the hips, creating a lot of space through the sides of the waist through our core area. And then as we inhale, soften the belly down, look up, lift the bottom toward, or soften the belly down, lift the bottom toward the sky, and just a big scoop, like somebody's taking a scoop out of your back, and then tucking the tailbone down and releasing the head down. So we're just going to slowly move through cat-cow. So follow your breath. And it's usually an inhale as you soften down and an exhale as you push away. And if that feels good to you, I'm going to invite you to use that breath. But if there's another way that you breathe doing this that feels just really great in your body, then I'm going to encourage you to do that as well. Good. And let's do one more. Let's return to our flat back. Now I'm going to invite you to curl your toes under, push the floor away from you, and we're going to lift our knees a couple centimeters off the floor. If you're still using Imperial, a couple inches or a few centimeters and a couple inches off the floor, just hold here, push the floor away from you, and lower down. So that might actually be intense in holding your body up. So really go ahead and firm your stomach, press into the mat, lift the knees, and just hover. And just notice how you push the floor away from you. You can look back towards your toes, hover, hover, hover. Perhaps your quads are talking to you here, and lower down. We're gonna do 2 more. Pressing firmly into the floor, taking a nice deep breath in, letting them hover. So the lower you hover, the more work it is. The higher you come up, a little bit less work it is. But go ahead and figure out where this works for you. And I'm gonna have you push the floor away from you all at the same time while you're hovering, and lower down. Last time. Inhale, push into the hands, lift the knees a centimeter from the floor, hover, 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 and lower down. Nice job. Let's extend the right leg straight back behind us, toes on the floor, push out through the heel for a nice little calf stretch. And then release, and we'll do the second side. Left leg back, push out through the heel for a nice little calf stretch. Breathe. And then release, right leg back. This time hover the right leg just hip height at the above. And let's bring the knee into the chest, kick back, and the knee out to the side, upper arm, kick back. Knee in, draw in, and knee out to the side, kick back. Now if you find bringing your knee through center is a struggle, just kick side instead. I like to call this like a dog at a fire hydrant. You're gonna lift the knee out and kick. Let's do 4 more here. 4. And remember, you can just do the side as well. 3, 2, last one. And now extend the legs straight out behind you, toes pointed to the floor, shift your shoulders forward. Let's do 4 mini push-ups. And only go down as far as you can push yourself up with ease. 2 more. Good, and make sure you're not pushing up with your head. You want to keep your head and shoulders coming down at the same time. Last one, and lower the knee down. Let's do the second side. Left leg extends back, toes pointing down, leg hovering at about hip height, and then exhale, knee to the chest, and then knee up nice and high out to the side. In, and out. And again, if you just want to do one or the other, that still counts. And out. We have 4 more here. 4, 3, 2. Do this at your own pace. If I'm going too fast for you, you can do as many as you need to. And 1. And then extend that leg back. Take a breath. Flex through the feet. Shift the shoulders forward. Head and shoulders are going to come down at the same time. So you don't want to be doing the push-ups with your head. You want to be doing the push-ups with your arms. And if you come out wider and turn your elbows out a little bit, you get more of the chest. And that's great. If you bring the elbows in a little closer, you get more of your triceps. Last 2. And last 1. Beautiful. Bring your knee down to the earth. And let's do a cat-cow here with a little bit of movement. So let's bring our bottom back toward our heels. Take our knees out nice and wide, make space for your body here. And then rock forward, shift the shoulders forward, rock back, and rock forward. Keep going. And back, and forward. 2 more. Back, and forward. Last one. Back, and forward. Come back to your tabletop position. Right leg comes back, toes hovering, knee into the chest, kick back, knee into the upper arm, kick back. And remember, you can do knee into the chest only or knee into the upper arm only. Keep going. In, push back, and out. Push back. 4 more. This is 4. This is 3. This is 2. Last one. Good. Knee into the chest, knee upper arm, kick back, hold. You can stay here. Option 1, option 2. 4 push-ups. This is 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to come back to tabletop cat-cow here. Follow your breath. Take your time. If I'm going too quickly for you, you can go at your own pace at any time. And then shift the shoulders forward, take the knees wide, rock the hips back. Shoulders forward, and rock the hips back. 2 more. Last one. We're almost done with hands and knees. Hang in there. Come back to tabletop position. Good. Left leg hovers out. I curl the right toes under to keep me stable. Outer hip pushes down toward the floor. Push out through the mound of the big toe. And then again, exhale, knee in. Kick it out. Upper arm. Take it back. In. Kick it out. Upper arm. Take it back. In. Kick it out. Upper arm. Take it back. This is 4. 3. 2. And 1. Kick it back. Out to the side. And then 4 push-ups. Find your breath. 4. 3. I try to lead with my chin here. 2. And last 1. Good. Come back to tabletop position. Join me for a little cat-cow. Finding your breath, taking your time. Good. And come back to your tabletop position. Spread your fingertips out a lot. Press down into your hands. Hover your knees just a couple centimeters above the floor. Push the floor away from you. Look forward. And then lift your butt, bend your knees, start to push the weight back into your heels. And then when you're ready, try straightening out your legs, pedal your feet. Head can move side to side, breath is nice and full. Good. And then pressing back towards the heels, through the heels, bend the knees, hover, breathe. Shift the shoulders over the wrists, look forward, hover. And then push into the hands, push back, pedal your feet. Now make sure you're pushing down into the knuckles of your fingers. You're hugging your forearms toward the center. You're really pushing into the L of your hand. Take a break if you need to. If your wrists are sore, you can come down on your forearms for this. Or even, if you have blocks available to you, take a block or 2 and come onto the blocks. Give your wrists a little bit of a rest, right? Hovering at the knees. Okay, lifting the bottom, pressing back into down dog. I'm doing down dog on the blocks, otherwise known as dolphin on the forearms. And lower down. Beautiful. I'm going to release the blocks off to the side and make my way to a forward fold. So you can either come back to down dog and walk your hands back towards your feet, or from tabletop position, you can step your feet forward to a forward fold. But get there any way that feels good. Now we're going to soften our knees. I'm bringing my elbows to my knees, and I'm sticking my butt out behind me and squeezing my belly to keep this part of my back super supported, because that's the curvy part of my back that always likes to do too much, okay? So if I pull in my belly and I stick out my butt, I'm going to come up into what we call a chair pose. Arms up in front, sit back through the heels. And then taking my hands to my waist, I'm going to come down and up for 4 in chair. So sit down, I call this power chair. Push through the heels, come up. Sit down for power chair. Push through the heels and come up. Sit down for power chair. Push through the heels, come up 1 time. Down, hold. And now you should push my arms out in front of me. You can rest your elbows on your knees. You can even lace your hands behind your low back and pull the elbows together. But just kind of find what works for you here. Then pushing through the heels, coming all the way up to standing, pull the arms down the back. So you can either place your hand on your butt and pull your shoulders back. You can lace your fingertips together and pull them down. You can have your hands on your hips and lift your chest. So just find where this works for you. Good. Inhale, sweep your arms high to the sky. Exhale, let's walk to the top of our mat if you're not there already. I'm going to grab my blocks because I like to practice with blocks, and bring them to the top of my mat. Rooting down through my feet. My feet are about 2/5 width apart, or my thigh bones are directly underneath my hips. Pressing down and wide through my feet so my quads fire up. I'm going to engage the center of my body and give my belly a little squeeze. Squeezing the shoulder blades onto the back, heart is lifted. This is standing in your power pose. Inhale, reach your arms high to the sky. Exhale, fold, reach behind you. And if you want, you can bring your thumbs just to the sacrum, squeeze your elbows toward each other, or lace the hands together and let the arms come forward. So just kind of pick where this works for you. And now bending through the knees, lifting the chest, chair, and then down to power chair, and up, push through the heels. Power chair, and up, 2 more. Power chair, and up. Last one, power chair, and then fold forward, fingertips comes to the blocks or to the mat. Take a giant step back with your right foot for a lunge, and then your left foot for downward facing dog. Let's inhale forward to top of a push-up. Exhale, lower the knees, squeezing through the shoulder blades, lower the chin and the chest to the mat. Bringing your fingertips or hands alongside you, curl just your shoulders back into cobra, hugging the legs together, pushing the tops of the feet down. And now pushing into the hands, let's push back into either tabletop position, child's position, or puppy pose, or if you're feeling it, downward facing dog pose. So just find where this works for you. Press back through your heels, hug your upper arms together, take a breath. And on the exhale, let's try walking our feet up toward our hands. Now, if you have trouble with doing that, I'm going to invite you to take your feet out a little bit wider to make space for your body and walk on the outer edges of the mat until you come to the top of your mat, and even walk your hands back to meet your feet. Inhale, reach high to the sky. Exhale, hands through heart center. Let's go again. Standing in our power, standing with equal weight in both feet, finding where we can take a deep breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Reach behind you. Open your shoulders by keeping them nice and open. Inhale to chair. And then if you want it, power chair. Lift up through chair, down through power chair. And you'll notice that my toes are lifted. And that's to remind me to press through my heels when I do this. 1 more. And then fold, bringing our hands down to the floor or to blocks. Left leg steps back. Giant step, lunge, right leg steps back, downward facing dog. Breathe. And on the inhale, we'll shift our shoulders forward toward the top of the mat. Come up onto your tippy toes if you like. Lower your knees down, and then your chin and your chest. Hug the legs together, push the tops of the feet down, squeeze the thighs together, lift the heart for cobra. And then we're going to push back into tabletop position and make our way to seated for our next set of ab strengthening poses or core strengthening poses. So come onto your back, and come onto your back in a way that feels good for you. So if you have a sensitive back, you may want to roll onto your side before you come down. But if you're okay to come straight back down, go ahead and do that. Good. Knees are bent. Walk your heels as close to your sit bones as feels comfortable. Press the backs of your arms into the mat. Curl your shoulder blades underneath you. Inhale, lift the hips to the sky. Squeeze the thighs toward each other. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Squeeze the thighs toward each other. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Again, you'll notice my toes are lifted because I'm trying to really focus on pressing through my hips, because that helps me to activate my glute muscles, which is a part of that core that we want to work from our knees to our shoulders, front and back. Last 2. Last 1. Lowering down, right toes up to the sky. You can hold the back of the right thigh, point and flex the toe. And now cross the right ankle over the left knee. Bringing our hands behind our head. So we're just holding our head and not pulling on our neck. So our head is just resting. What I like to do is put my thumbs inside my ears and pull my elbows back. Now what we want to do is lift so that the shoulder blades come off the mat. And what's going to happen are your low ribs are going to slide towards your hips. And that's what you want. You want to do that. You want to make sure that you're not feeling a lot of pressure in your neck, because that means your abs are no longer doing the work and your neck has picked up the work. So really work on thinking about those low ribs sliding to the hips. Now go ahead and bring your left knee into your chest, and we're going to squeeze in, tap the toe. Squeeze in, tap the toe, squeeze in, tap the toe. If you're pulling on your head, go ahead and bring your hands to the top of your head or onto your forehead if you find you're pulling on your knees or your head. 4, squeeze. 3, squeeze, 2, and now we're going to hold it up, holding up the head and the leg, arms down by the sides. We're going to pulse, 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 pulse for 4, 3, 2, and now right toes to the sky and pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold the back of the right thigh. Extend the left leg parallel to the floor. See if you can look down and see the left big toe and draw in for 2 and switch, in for 2 and switch. So pull in and in for 4, 3, 2. Remember, you can lower your head at any point here. And 1. Both feet flat to the floor. Hands along or arms alongside the body. Tuck your shoulder blades underneath you. Press firmly into your feet. Lift your hips up. Squeeze your glutes. Squeeze your thighs together. Lower down. Lift up and lower down. Lift up and lower down. Pushing through the heels, squeezing the knees toward each other, squeezing the glutes as you come up. You can even grab the edges of your mat. See if you can get a little bit higher. Last 2. And last 1, lift, hold, squeeze the thighs toward each other, pull firm your center of your body, lowering down. Now crossing that left ankle over the right knee and taking a moment to breathe here. Now hands come behind the head, catch your breath. Remember, low ribs are moving towards the hips, coming up so that your shoulder blades are off the mat, then lifting the legs. So we're going to come in, tap down, come in, tap down, come in, tap down, come in, tap down for 4, 3, 2, last 1, hold it in, hold it up, left toes come to the sky, hold here, squeeze the knees together, hands come alongside the body. So you can stay here or you can even lower your head down if you feel like it's too much. Hug the thighs to the midline and we're going to pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold up. Hands come behind that left thigh. Right toes extend out so you can line up your big toe with your nose. Lift up, squeeze, and then pull in for 2, change. In for 2, change. In for 2, change. In for 2, change. This is 8. You've got this. 7, take a break if you need to. Bend your knees if you need to. Okay? 4 more. 3, 2, last set. And 1. Good. Both knees into the chest. Plant the feet. Tuck the shoulder blades underneath you. Catch your breath. And when you're ready, hips up and down, squeezing up and down, squeezing up and down, up and down. Thighs squeezing in toward each other for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Bring the knees into the chest, hold here. Option 1 is just to stay here, rock side to side. If you still need a little bit more core work, you can bring your hands behind your thighs and try rocking up into a boat pose. First, I like to just bring my toes to the sky, to the floor, and lean back for boat pose. So that's my first option here. Feet to the floor, toes to the floor, leaning back till I feel my core engage. Option 1. Option 2, I might lift one leg up and hold here, and then alternate. Option 3, I might hold the back of my thighs and just find where my core is engaged. Find where my abs are like, oh, this is where we are. And you may shake a little bit as your body tries to find equilibrium. Take a break if that's happening, or breathe into that space. Another option is to take the legs out long and the arms out long. This is like a lot of work right here. So just be careful that you're really engaging your core and that your back feels protected. You can also take your hands behind you for more support, but I'm going to invite you to take a moment to find where this works for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So pick what works for you, and if you want to do all of them, you can, right? So, do you want to try it? Plant your feet here. Lean back till you feel your abs. One leg, two. Reach back, come up, lower down. Let's try it together. Hold here. You can stay here, lean back and hold. You can add a leg, add another leg and hold. Straighten out, in, and plant. Two more. Stay here if you like. Here, 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 and then down. Last time. Good. Beautiful. And now lower all the way down onto your back. Knees into your chest, rocking side to side. Whenever I work my core like that, I instantly start sweating. So it's okay if you feel a little bit out of breath and you feel a little bit sweaty. That's the name of the game. Your body's just working hard. These can be good sensations. You're feeling pressure in your throat or in your eyes, or you can't catch your breath. Those are sensations you really want to pay attention to and take a break. All right, planting the feet, tucking the shoulder blades underneath us. Inhale, lifting the hips up. Squeeze the glutes. Squeeze. Good. Two more, we're gonna add on. Now go ahead and grab the sides of your mat. Lift your right leg high to the sky. And now lift your hips up and down. Lift and down, lift and down. And you can also do this with a bent knee if you like, for 4, 3, 2, and toes to the sky, lower down. Let's do the second side. Planting the feet, tucking the shoulder blades underneath you, lifting the hips. Now lifting the left leg, lower and lift, lower and lift. So we're just lowering the hips and not the leg. Lower and lift. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Knees into the chest. Give yourself a squeeze. And now you can roll to your favorite side and come back up to tabletop. Or if you want to rock up to tabletop, you can do that. From tabletop, let's do a few cat-cows here. And just find your breath. And then when you're ready, gently curling your toes under, pressing back to your down dog, softening between your shoulder blades, pushing back through your heels, taking a moment to breathe here. Good. Looking forward towards your hands. You can take your feet out nice and wide, bend your knees, and if you want to try hopping, you can hop your feet wide of your hands, or you can simply walk your feet wide of your hands. Bend your knees, lift your bottom if you want to try to hop, and then hop to the top of your mat, fold. Lace the fingertips behind the low back, let the arms come forward if you like, or let the thumbs rest right here, and then inhale, come all the way up. Stretch your arms down behind you, lift the heart, reach all the way up to the sky, and step to the top of your mat, hands at heart center. Make sure that you've got equal weight between both of your feet. Lift and spread your toes, root down through your feet, and take a moment to breathe. Inhale, reach, eyes follow the fingertips up. Exhale, fold, reach your arms straight back behind you. Good, inhale, chair pose, and then power chair. Fold. Right leg comes back to a lunge, left leg pushes back to down dog. Inhale, forward to top of a push-up. Exhale, knees, chest, chin lowers. Hug the legs together. Inhale, roll through cobra. Exhale, push back through down dog. And here's your option. You can either walk your hands back towards your feet. You can walk your feet out wide as I'm doing and walk to the top of your mat this way. Or you can bend your knees and hop your hands or hop your feet wide of your hands. Bend, lift the bottom, and try hopping. Good. Staying folded here, letting everything hang. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart center, and step to the top of your mat if you're not there already. Catch your breath. Inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, fold, reach back behind you. Inhale to chair pose. You can stay here if you like, or you can take a power chair if that speaks to you. And then fold. Right leg back to a lunge. And you'll notice I'm up on my fingertips here to give myself more space. Blocks would be great here too. Press back to down dog, and then I bring my palms down to the earth. Take a big breath in as you inhale forward. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Hug the legs together, curl the shoulders back, cobra. Exhale, push through tabletop position, and then back to downward facing dog. Now I'm going to play with a little pose that gives everybody a lot of grief, and that's stepping our foot forward between our hands. I really have a hard time when people say just do that because it's not just easy for a lot of us. So one option is to lower the right knee down and swing the left leg forward, then lift the right knee up. Okay, that's one option. Another option you can try is you can lift the left leg nice and high. Look at what I'm doing with my left hand, coming up onto my left fingertips and trying to step my foot wide of my left hand. Then pivoting and planting my right foot, coming up into warrior two pose. Bending into the square of the knee. Good. Find your breath. Get there however that works for you. And then bringing your hands to your waist, turn both sets of toes forward to the long edge of your mat and just adjust your feet so that your feet are in a line and your heels are pressed out. All right, so I'm not facing you. I hope you can hear me okay. And then I'm going to exhale and fold forward. Good. Bend your knees. If you have blocks here, this is a great place to place your blocks. Okay, soften your knees, fold. Inhale, walk your fingertips out in front, lengthen forward. Exhale and lower. Good. Hands on the waist, shoulder blades on the back. Inhale, slowly come up. Turn your right toes out to the back of your mat. Circle your arms out into T, warrior two. Good, breathe. Now we're gonna add on here. Inhale, pivot both toes up. Now turn your toes out to the right and left. So I'm gonna flip around so you can see me. Turn your toes out to the right and left. Hands to your waist, and we're gonna lower down and sweep up. Down and sweep up. Arms are extra. If you're not feeling extra, don't add the arms, just keep the hands on the waist. And down. Last four. Last three. Last two. And hold down here and just breathe. So you can take your goddess arms out if you like. Okay. You can keep your hands on your waist if you like. You can place your hands on your knees if you like. You can hands at heart center if you like. So your thighs might start to talk to you soon. Just breathe. This is part of our core, right? That we're working. Breathe. Exhale. One more. Inhale, lengthen the legs out, straighten the legs out, widen the heels apart, and then fold forward. I'm gonna bring my blocks out in front of me, take weight back into my heels, and relax my forearms on the blocks. Just finding myself here. Breathe. Sounds like a thunder in my house. I'm not the only one home today. Inhale, press into the hands, lift the heart, and now turn your right toes out to the top of your mat. I'm gonna frame my blocks around my right foot, bend into the right knee, press out through the left heel, and stay here, or inhale, reach that right arm up to the sky. Good. Exhale, release both hands to the blocks, and if you want to play, you can either step left foot forward, step right foot back, or if you're feeling ambitious, you can try doing a hop switch. So I press into the blocks, okay, and I'm pushing off with my legs, and I'm gonna hop switch. So find your second side, however that looks for you. Bend into your left knee, inhale, left arm up to the sky. Breathe. Exhale, both hands down to the mat, and either step right foot forward, left foot back, inhale, take the twist on the exhale. Good, and again, either hop switch or step switch your feet. Bend into the knee. As you begin to exhale, reach. Inhale with hands to the blocks, exhale into the twist. Let's do two more. And you can go ahead and play with however you want to do this. Deep breath here, and then exhale, twist. And play. Step or hop, your choice, and twist. Beautiful. Both feet come to the top of the mat, so you may need to push off and step your foot forward. Forward fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And let's just take a moment to breathe here. So feet, you've got equal weight between both your feet. You're rooting down through all four corners of your feet. Your big toe mound, pinky toe mound, inner heel, outer heel. Curl the shoulder blades onto the back and breathe. Inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, fold, reach behind you. Inhale to chair. Exhale to fold. Inhale, let's do a half lift here. Exhale, fold, and let's step back with the right foot. Right knee is going to come to the earth here. Good. Inhale, reach the arms high to the sky. And now exhale, plant your hands on either block. So I'm going to go to the lowest setting on my block. And I'm going to push out through my left leg and extend my left leg high to the sky. Now you can also come onto hands and knees and do this. Okay? So now bringing your knee into your chest, shift your shoulders forward and kick back. Now bring your knee across the body and kick back. Same knee, same elbow, kick back, back through the center, forward and back, kick over to the right and back, and over to the left and back. And then let's bring our knee forward for pigeon pose. So right knee or left knee to the left wrist, and I'm going to come onto my blocks here. Walk your right leg back behind you. Now if this is like not your jam, doesn't feel good in your body, then come to a reclining pigeon where you cross the left ankle over the right knee just to take some of the pressure off your knees. So just figure out what works best for you in this pose and breathe. Good. Find your breath here. I love using the blocks to lengthen my arms. My arm to leg length ratio. My arms are shorter than my legs. So some things I just can't do in yoga that look really pretty in pictures that just don't look that way for me because my arm to leg ratio is not equal. So that's why I like to use blocks to just lift up my arms, make things a little bit more accessible. And I especially like to use the cork blocks on their flattest setting because they're really helpful in being supportive and they stick to the mat and they're not squishy. So I really do enjoy them. So if you like, you can lift up a little bit higher. Make sure you're pulling up your pelvic floor here because we're making this a little bit of a back bend here. Now again, if your knees don't like this or this is something you can't do facing this way, really stick to drawing this pose onto your back and drawing your knee in closer to your chest. Now if you're on your back, I'm going to ask you to roll up and come into a tabletop position. And for those of us who are here in pigeon pose this way, curl your back toes under, push into your blocks, and extend that left leg to the sky and lower down. So you're either in tabletop, cat-cowing, or you're in down dog. Now we're going to do the second side, and you can do this from tabletop, extending the right leg high to the sky, and now bringing that right knee into the chest, shifting the shoulders forward, kick back, right knee, left elbow, right elbow, right knee, and keep going. One more time. Through center, kick to the opposite side, and then same knee, same elbow, and then all the way forward to your pigeon pose. Ooh, slide back. Yeah. And again, if this is not your jam, go ahead and come onto your back, right? So you're going to come onto your back. Another way you can do this is to come to seated and hang out here, right? If this is working for you, stay here. If you'd like to come onto your back for pigeon, this counts. I like to just rest my hand on my shin and my foot. If you want, you can bring your hand behind your thigh. This is a great place for a strap if you like. But pick the pose that works for you in however way this makes the most sense. So for me, I feel more sensation facing this way. So find the place where this works for you and breathe. So when you come forward, this has a more restorative feel to the pose. If you want more of a back bend, don't forget to engage pelvic floor and lift up, hugging the thighs together. So just figure out where this pose works for you and then customize this pose to your body. Whew, breathe. And then when you're ready, you can push into the hands, curl the back toes under, and come back to your three-legged dog. If you're on your back, you're going to transition into your tabletop position. Good. And you're either in tabletop or down dog or puppy pose, whatever works for you. Breathe. And now everybody shift the shoulders forward, whether you're in tabletop or puppy pose. And lower down. I'm going to move the blocks just slightly out of my way here. And then bringing your hands alongside your body, hugging your legs together, curling your shoulder back. Let's lift into cobra and lower. Slightly lift, maybe a little bit higher and lower. And maybe a little bit higher and lower. So start with baby cobra. Okay. I like to call this preschool cobra. Okay. Teenage cobra. Mama cobra. And daddy cobra. And lower down. Let's do one more. So baby cobra, you can even just lift your hands, let them hover from the floor, squeezing your shoulder blades together, hugging your legs together, squeezing your pelvic floor. And then preschooler, a little higher. And then adolescent or teenager. And then mom. And then perhaps dad. And then tabletop. Beautiful cat kiddo. And just take your time here. Now, keeping in mind, should have mentioned this before, but keeping in mind that you can stay in baby cobra. We're going to do that one more time. Come forward. So if you want to stay in baby cobra for all three, go ahead, right? Hugging the legs together, pulling up the pelvic floor, curl the shoulders back. You can hover here, hang out, and release. Okay. You can come to your preschooler, which is just a little bit higher than your baby. Then perhaps teenage years, adolescence. Good. Then perhaps mama. And then perhaps dad. And then lower down. And take your legs out wider. Shake your hips side to side. We're working our back, so you may feel a little bit sore in the low back tomorrow. Think of it as the crunches you're doing in the front of your body, because often we don't really work that part of our body, right? So hugging the legs together, taking a breath here. Let's do a little bit more for our back. I find that this is really helpful in keeping my back pain at bay. I'm going to slide my hands down by my sides. You can keep your hands stacked here if that feels better. And I'm just going to lift one leg. You're going to notice one leg for me lifts a little bit higher for me because this leg is the SI joint that was out. So it always is a little finicky. So I try not to push it too hard. And then watch the other side, right? So you can just kind of see that there's a little bit of a difference. So when you're ready, you're going to hug your legs together and lift one leg at a time. Now you can press your palms into the earth to just stabilize you. You can stack your hands underneath if you like. You can just try lifting one leg at a time because we're really working. The glutes are working. The low back is working. The core is working here. So squeeze your core if you can. Squeeze your pelvic floor if you can, and just alternate lifting one at a time. So let's do 4 more here. This is 4, 3, 2, last one each side. Good. And 1. Now let's rest. Bringing your ear to your stacked arms and take a break, breathe. And then we're going to change it up. So you can either stay alternating if you like, okay, with arms stacked underneath you or hands by your sides. You can even come here if this is a little bit more stable, so your cobra prep. Just wherever this works for you, okay? So next one, we'll hug our thighs together. First option is to alternate. Second option, hug the thighs together, lift and lower, lift and lower. So that's the next option. So let's try 8. You can even do 4 here. 7, 6, 5, 4. Remember, you can alternate instead. 3, 2, and 1. Let's release. You can stack your forearms or your arms on top of each other and release your chin or your forehead to the mat. Take a little bit of a break here. We're almost done. So now we've lifted the lower body. So now we want to do the upper body. So we want to keep the upper body stable and low and hugging together. And then again, you have options. You have the option to lift with the hands. You have the option to use your core to lift you, okay? You have the options for hands down beside you. You have the options for arms out in front of you. So arms out in front of you is a little more challenging. So I'm gonna opt for the hands right next to me. Hug the legs together, pull the pelvic floor up, lift the chest and lower. Feet stay down. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. This is 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a break. So what I'm going to do is pull my left knee up and just roll to my right side a little bit, just to give myself a little bit of a break. If you're okay to lay flat in your stomach, you can. I find sometimes if you have girls, you get suffocated if you lay flat in your stomach. So you can also come to cat-cow if your back needs a little bit of a break. Good. And then let's come back. We're going to do that one more time. And again, you have the options to take the arms out in front, arms to the side, arms alongside the body. So we're going to do 8 here. Curl the shoulders back, lift. We're going to lift, squeeze, push down through the tops of the feet. Lift, squeeze your abs, squeeze your pelvic floor, engage your legs. This is 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and rest. And again, I'm just gonna pull my leg up a bit here because I have a finicky back, and I know that this is helping my back because every time I go to the chiropractor lately, he's like, wow, your back's doing really well. And I'm like, yeah, because I've been doing these exercises that I've been avoiding because I just don't like them. And I find avoiding them is not a good idea because then my back tells me that she's unhappy. All right, so now the last set we're going to do is both. You can either lift the arms, the upper body, and the legs at the same time. So you have the option to either alternate legs, lift legs only, lift upper body only, or do the whole enchilada. So let's hug the legs together. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, and let's try lifting. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Take a break, and if you need to pause in the break a little bit longer, there's no harm in that. And if you want to try lacing the fingertips behind the whole back and lifting and lowering, go ahead and give that a try. You've got 4 more. 3, 2, last one, hold. Good, breathe, almost there, and release. So let's press into our hands. Inhale, push up. Exhale, big toes together, knees wide. Woo, and let's sit back and stretch out that back. So a little bit of back work here, right? Which is always needed for a healthy spine. Again, this is something I need a lot. So if you're good here in child's pose, stay here. If you would like a little bit more intensity in what you're feeling, you can always come back to a down dog. Or you can even, if this feels really good to you, is walk your hands back towards your feet and come into a forward fold. Because we worked a ton of right here, and upper back today. So what you need to do is find the appropriate stretch for you. So forward fold, down dog, or child's pose. So just find that pose that makes the most sense for you. If you want to come through all 3, we have time. You can certainly come through all 3. We have one more set of ab exercises to do, and then we're going to take a nice, delicious stretch, and then maybe a mini shavasana, and then you can get on with your day if you need to go. So now, let's go ahead and make our way back onto our backs with our knees into our chest. You guys are doing great. It's not easy to work the core, and I'm terrible. I won't work my core unless I'm teaching a class. So this is really good to remind myself that this helps me not have a super sore back. It helps me be strong, and it helps me feel strong in my body, which is really important to me. I don't take for granted the strength of my body. And just rocking side to side, massaging that part of your back. Good. And now we're going to do one more exercise, or one more set of exercises. Knees into the chest. Hands behind the head. We're going to do what's called the bicycle. Extend the right leg parallel to the floor. Cross the right elbow to the left knee. Draw in, and then the second side. So we're going to do a few of these. So cross and cross. So take a break. See if you can cross your elbow to the outside of your knee, and see if you can lift the scapula, the shoulder blades, off the mat. This is 8, 7, 6, and 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Last exercise, I've left the best for last. Whew, we're going to do the 100. So the way I do the 100 is knees over hips. You can stay with knees bent, lifting up so that my shoulder blades are off the mat, hands by the sides. That's one option. Another option, if you're struggling with holding yourself up, is to have your hands behind your head and do bent knee. Okay. Third option, toes to the sky, heels together. Bring your legs down to a 45-degree angle from your hips, or the best that you can do, hands down by your sides and pulsing. So let's take a minute to choose where we are. This is 1, 2, 3, or 4. You just get to pick, okay? I'm going to try 4 today. I'm feeling ambitious. Usually I do 3. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, roll the low ribs toward the hips. Either keep the legs bent, arms down by the sides. Find the position for your legs. Pump your arms as though you're slapping water. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 10. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 20. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 30. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 40. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 50. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 60. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 70. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 80. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 90. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 100. Knees into the chest. There's my alarm telling me it's time for a Savasana. So go ahead and rock side to side. Massage your low back. Your core is probably talking to you. You'll probably be a little bit sore tomorrow. And I call that a change has occurred. So something shifted in your body, so that's why you're sore. Float your arms out into cactus or T, and let your knees fall over to the right side. Notice how you feel in your body. Good. Notice your core. Inhale back through center. Exhale, second side. Knees over. I like a nice twist. Back through center. Roll all the way over onto your favorite side. Make your way up to seated. And then come onto your mat and extend your legs out as wide as you can, as wide as feels comfortable. So for some of us, we're going to be sitting back on our hips like this and have this kind of rolling or rounding of the back. See if you can push into your hands and lean the pelvis forward. I do this by pulling the flesh of my thighs back, or even sitting up on a block or a blanket. And then flexing out through the mound of the big toe, pushing down through the heel so I don't overextend the knees. Let's just take a fold forward. So now you're gonna feel perhaps maybe your back getting a stretch, the back of your thighs getting a bit of a stretch. Just breathe here. See where you are. Good. And then walking your hands over to your right leg and allowing your torso just to extend over the right leg. And then walking back through center and extend your torso over your left leg. Keep your feet active, push down through the backs of your legs. Good. And coming back through center. I like to just use my hands to bring my legs together. Make your way, let's first make our way onto our tummy just for a sec. Pressing down through the tops of the feet. Let's just stretch out the abdominal wall. Mine's kind of talking to me. And then bringing my big toes together, knees wide, and come back to child's pose. You can hang out here if you like, or you can make your way onto your back. I like to bring a bolster underneath my knees, a blanket for a rest pose. Okay, so that's an option for rest, or you can make your way back to a seated pose for a few moments of contemplation, whether that be meditation or just sitting quietly with your thoughts, just meditation. So take a few moments to settle. We have a few minutes left to just settle and breathe. So find this place where you can take a comfortable moment to yourself without any effort. Good. Folding your hands in front of your heart if you're seated. Continuing to stay in your comfortable seat if you like. I'm going to leave you here. So take Savasana for as long as you like. Sit in meditation for as long as you like. Or you can join me with hands at heart center, whatever you like. So on this day, this International Women's Day, may you be inspired by women. May you be inspired to practice. May you be inspired to be you. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. Thank you. If you'd like to connect with me, I am on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Dianne Bondy Yoga. I'm always open to requests if you had anything you would like me to do. You can find me here on Plank on Fridays at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Oh, we're going to Daylight Savings Time this weekend, actually. Central Time, 10 a.m., Mountain Time, 9 a.m., and Pacific Time, 8 a.m. All right, thank you for joining me.